let me show you something. Just before we get Lewis Hamilton, he's coming out in a second, but before we do, this is something I read about and I thought I'd get it into the show and we maybe try it out, because there's a company here in London, in Walthamstow, and they've created a new flavour of jam, OK? The flavour that I imagine they thought the nation has been craving, bacon-flavoured jam. Yeah, this is it. This is an actual product. We haven't mocked this or anything. It's just bacon jam. Who doesn't want bacon jam? Obviously, apart from Jewish diabetics. But who... OK. And if you can't get your hands on it, you can always make it at home. We've looked at the recipe on there, and I've got the ingredients here that you could make your own bacon jam at home if you wanted to. And this is the genuine ingredients they have here, which is you have the smoked bacon ready cooked, so you put that in there. Okay, you probably blend it all up with red onion. That gives it a nice... So it's much like a chutney or a pickle. We've got vinegar. That's the posh balsamic vinegar. Spice. Oh, there's the spice. Coffee. Has coffee in it. Garlic. OK. And here's the kicker. Whiskey. Ooh. There's a bit more of that. This smells better. And this is how you make it. And you mix up at home if you want to try some. And that is what you would wind up with. If you're getting close on that, if you can getting close on the whiskey there. Spread that up in there. Christ. No wonder Delia Smith always looks off her tits. You trying it there, Sarah?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'd call it a spread rather than a
Would you? I tell you what, you're a game girl. Everything I've told you to put in your mouth tonight so far, you've done it. Yeah. Look and learn, Hamilton. Look and learn. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, for our next guest. I am delighted he's on the show. Before he comes out there, just let's take a look at him in his office. Look at this. He is one of the greatest sporting talents this country's ever produced. It's Lewis Hamilton. Good to meet you. Lewis Hamilton, ladies and gentlemen. That's a dapper young man. There's a good-looking and well-turned-out young man right there for you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the warm welcome. My mum's somewhere out there.
Your mum's here this evening?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hello, Mum. Where's Mum? Up there.
Hey, Mum.
Make yourself known on the way out. I'll make sure you get a car home.
I have to ask you, was that apple juice you were drinking?
No, that was whiskey.
Can pass it here.
It was whiskey, dude.
I want to pass it here.
Can you hold your drink? Are you okay? Are you
I
old
can.
enough to?
I had to have
you?
some before I came, or else I know. That's apple juice.
No! Commiserations on the weekend. I was watching on TV, Spa it was, in Belgium.
Yeah. Thank you for not showing it, actually.
We've got it coming up, but I want you to talk us through it, because it's a terrifying thing when any of us see a crash. Unfortunately, this wasn't a bad one. It wasn't, I mean, it's bad enough to get you out of the race, but it wasn't, there was no damage done to you or to other drivers. But I'm wondering, you know, what happens when that's going on? What's going through your mind? The first time you realise that you're losing control, what's the first thought you have?
Well, sometimes you know it's coming, but, you know, for then, I honestly didn't see the guy that was... I could see he was behind me, but I thought I was past him fully. So I was literally committed to the corner, and as I was turning in, I got a clip from the outside.
So you'd overtaken him, and you'd gone out to follow what they call the line, I guess, and you were then going to swoop back in, and then he was coming up the inside. Yeah,
I mean, you need to have very good awareness of the space around you.
Or look in your mirrors.
Yeah. The mirrors we have, you know, when you're doing 200 miles an hour, they're flapping, so you can't actually see them too well.
Why do they even have on?
Because Because it's just legal. It's just a
so it's
legality
legal. Okay,
issue,
so it's like you don't get the MOT unless you've got the mirrors.
Exactly.
Can we show the clip of the bumpers? I'm not doing this to embarrass you.
I've only seen it like once.
So you wouldn't. It's not something you would watch back again and again, I guess. Anyway.
No.
But I guess
I prefer watching the clip you showed.
The first one where you're winning.
Good.
Yeah, of course you do. But this is the most recent thing. So let's have a look at this and maybe you can talk. So this is the weekend. If you're watching, it was in Belgium. It was the Grand Prix, and this is the crash itself. And we see just before it happens and afterwards. Have a look at this.
As Hamilton, he can use the DRS. The Grand Prix.
Okay, that's...
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, if you want, we have it in slow-mo.
No.
Okay. Do you have bruises? Do you have... are there muscle problems after something like that?
Yeah, I think you're in... you know, you've got the adrenaline, so I think you don't really feel it too much.
You don't know it's happened even,
The next day I was in pain.
And Jensen did pretty well after that. I mean, he was like in 14th at that stage. He came back up. He came right through the ranks and he ran up at 3rd, I think, at the end of the... It's such a competitive sport, but can you be friends? Do you get on with Jensen? Can you be friends with the other drivers, or does it have to be fairly ruthless?
At the end of the day, we're fierce competitors, but you know, I'm very lucky. I think the last couple of years I've had very good teammates, and Jensen is very similar to me. He's come from from nowhere. We've got a great family behind us.
You can fill in your own captions at home for that one, ladies and gentlemen. Do you ever give him any driving tips?
No.
No? Not tempted? No. You should just, when you wind him up after and say, you know what you want to try? When you're doing that turn, you want to try...
I think he'll be giving me the tips at the moment. He's doing a lot better, so...
but it does, you know, but you came, it seemed to many of us, like you came almost out of nowhere and suddenly you were there and you won so young. I mean, you were so... How old were you when you won the first time?
I won in 2007, in my first year, so I was 22.
22?
It's crazy because people don't see that what we did before that, you know, before... Through karting, through, you know, racing remote control cars, sitting in the back of a trailer with, you know, just a gas heater and my dad's old Vauxhall that pulled it along. I went go-karting when I was 5 years old when we were in Ibiza one time on our first holiday. And I remember that day like it was yesterday. I just had a knack for braking and accelerating, and I used that knack through the whole of my karting
even
career.
when you... So the first time you got in the car, you felt you had a knack for that?
Yeah.
And where do you think that came from? It just was something you just knew how to do it? You just liked doing it?
I don't know, yeah. I had no fear with it at all.
And what's the fastest you've driven, do you think? What's the fastest speed you've hit?
I think the fastest I've ever done is 235 miles an hour, I think.
It's just silly, though,
But that's not on the race, you know, on the race...
So that was in the race, that was like the M1? Where was that?
No, I won't tell you what I've done.
Well, you must have points on your... Have you got points on your licence?
The first time I ever got caught, you know, in your first 2 years of driving, you're only allowed 6 points. And I was driving up to Snetterton. I had a test up there. Okay, and by the way, we don't encourage speeding if there are any young people watching, and we especially don't encourage getting caught.
No,
so, absolutely. I remember looking far ahead, and I saw there was this yellow van, and it had the door open, and I thought that, you know, that's not a camera. And as I got closer and closer, I started to realise, oh shit, you know, and I actually had to ask them to send a picture to show proof, and there was a picture of me. And I won't say anymore, but the facial expression I had was hilarious.
This was because you've been caught in the camera, so you're like, huh?
Yeah.
Look down there. Give us the face, will you, that you were doing? Okay, this is Lewis when he knew when he finally realised it was a camera. So you're driving up, and then the camera goes. But you've learned a lesson. You would never speed now on a UK road, would you?
No. No. Do you know what? I just don't drive.
You don't drive?
Just avoid driving.
What about Nicole? Can we ask you about Nicole? It's Nicole Scherzinger.
Yeah.
When you're driving with her, do you let her drive you in the car?
I mostly drive.
Okay, yeah.
Like 99% of the time.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think she loves it when I drive. And
who wouldn't?
And no, I think there was a time recently where we were driving around LA, and I don't know the place, so she's giving me directions to the restaurant, and I get frustrated because, you know, she tells me when to turn once I pass the turning already, so then you have to do a U-turn.
Well, you're obviously driving too fast if you do that. Take a left!
I'll be So I stopped and I let her drive, and...
How was that?
It wasn't great. It wasn't great.
Well, you're going to get married pretty soon, I guess, is that right?
I don't know about that.
I thought I read you were getting married.
No, we're quite happy where we are.
Okay.
She left. She flew back to LA this morning.
She's back to LA. Okay. When you go and see gigs, does she like you being there? Does she like seeing you in the crowd, or would she rather you weren't in the crowd?
Well, I'm lucky. I think one of the props, the perks of being a boyfriend of someone like her. I mean, she's fantastic to watch. But I've been able to travel around when she was on tour, and I stand next to the stage in places that no one gets to go. And You know, but it's neat. It's incredible.
So imagine you get to go a little bit closer than the side of the stage with her, don't you?
She sings to me. She sings to me when she's on stage.
She sings to you on stage?
So she always points me out when she's singing, which is pretty sweet.
And are there particular parts of the song she dedicates to you, like that?
Well, there's some songs, you know, she did J-Ho, for example, and she always tells me that I inspired her to write that. So when she sings that, she always says, this part is for you.
This is for you.
Yeah,
I love it. And what part of the song is it that, in particular, she sings to you? Because some of her lyrics are pretty racy, aren't they? I mean, some of them are very racy.
No, not that one. I think there's a part where it says, you're the reason I breathe, or something like that. Or,
that's
you know,
so
it's kind of a softy part. So.
And yet you still went like that when you said you were her boyfriend. You did.
It's right.
You read, you know, because her boyfriend's out there. What does that mean? Why did you do that? The quotation marks. Okay, so, you're not what we would call a player. You're not one of those guys, are you? You're not kind of looking around for other action or something like that, are you?
No, when you have the most beautiful girl in the world, then you don't need to.
Wow, what a lovely thing to say. And none of that going on then either.
None of that.
Okay. Lewis, how lovely to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, what a charming guest and what a fabulous talent. It's Mr. Lewis Hamilton. Join us after the break, because I like to think the best is yet to come. No disrespect to the fabulous Sarah or Lewis, but taste as you were mere starters for the main courses coming up with Adele after these messages. Don't go away.